Well, Mr. Gaffney, here we are talking about training cycles, right? Or I done it a bit philosophically there, cycles of training. Yeah, you can say it whatever way. So what we're learning here is the details of a training program, right? But to be honest with you, I don't follow a training program. I find it a bit mentally exhausting, but I understand training cycles. So I make sure to every few weeks or whatever to change certain protocols in my training up in order to keep making progress, but also it's good because the variation is good for your mental health. Like, do you know what I mean? You get bored doing the same thing over and over again. Some people that are beginners in training, they never get out of a cycle that they're doing. So they just keep adding weight, adding reps, adding weight, adding reps, and they don't bleed know what they're doing. Eventually you burn out, you stop making progress, and you get pain in your bollocks, right? So here we go. Cycles of training. Any good training program be split into cycles. The full program is the macro cycle. This is subdivided into mesocycles. Also, your mesocycle can be subdivided into microcycles. Here's an example of this program. The macro cycle is your big picture. It's 12 weeks. That's broken into 3 mesocycles, each one of them being 4 weeks, right? And it says here, your mesocycle is the big picture segmented in a purposeful way. This is done to complement the big goal. So for us, let's say pull-ups. Then your microcycle, that's just the stuff you do on a daily, weekly basis. That's kind of like each workout is one microcycle. Right, so we'll move on, get stuck in here. So your mesocycles are the things that's kind of the most important. They're not the bigger picture and they're not the small picture. They're in the middle, right? So the mesocycles are the main thing to pay attention to when progressing. This is where you will sustain training principles for enough weeks that they cause adaptations in the body. When you enter a new mesocycle, you will change up some of your training protocols. In this order, this is in order to keep getting adaptations that will ultimately end up in you reaching your big picture goal. Blah, blah, fucking blah. So we know our macro cycles, 12 weeks, mesocycles, 4 weeks. Blah, blah, blah means you're going to have 3 mesocycles, right? So we know that already. Who fucking wrote this? Right, man, I'm going to tell you this is a courtesy. If you need to do something or you have plans, go do them and stop watching this, because this is where we get into the nitty gritty, right? So your first mesocycle, your first 4 weeks of training, right, is accumulation. What does that mean? Accumulation means we're building up loads of volume. We're trying to get loads of reps, loads of volume, loads of total weight moved, right? As much work as we can. This is where we're really going to focus on technique. Anything we need to adjust and brush up on technique and make sure it's really good. We're not really going to be going to failure, taxing the body too much. We're really focusing on getting good quality reps and a good lot of them. So first weeks 1 to 3. Our exercise coming up is a pull-up variation. Right, there's loads of pull-up variations you can do. You pick a pull-up variation that you can manage for between 8 to 12 reps. So that could be, let's say, a banded assisted pull-up. And you just find a resistance band that gets you between 8 and 12 reps. And you're fairly comfortable doing that, let's say, right? Going to do it for 3 to 4 sets. In week 1, you might only do 3 sets. Then 2 and 3, you might do your 4 sets, right? Just to allow the body to acclimatise. Or 3, we don't want to go near failure in the first 3 weeks. As I said, it's all technique focused, man. Forget about going to failure and killing yourself. An accessory move. This is very important, so listen the fuck up, right? Your accessory move is going to be determined on what fails on your pull-up variation, right? So there's 2 things that can happen. Well, 3, but I doubt you'll have the problem with the third one. The first one is your biceps might go on your pull-up variation. You find they're the thing that burns and fails the most and you feel it's the limiting factor, right? That's good for your biceps because they get plenty of stimulus from the pull-ups, right? But your lats, if they didn't fail or get close to it or get enough of a training stimulus doing pull-ups, I would advise doing an accessory move for the lats, right? And then do 15 reps of that move for 3 sets at an RIR of 2, going slightly closer to failure. Because it might be an isolation move. So you can do a dumbbell pull over, or you can do, like with a resistance band, you can do a straight arm lat pull down. But listen, right, if your lats are the limiting factor, right, well then your accessory move might be for your biceps, might be your bicep curls, because they didn't get enough. So you'll know what you feel working in your pull-up. What you didn't feel working, you should bring that up in the accessory work to make sure it gets enough stimulus, right? Now listen up for week 4. Week 4 is the end of your first mesocycle. The end of every mesocycle is going to be the most intense week of that mesocycle. So your pull-up variation is the same reps, right? We're going for 4 solid sets. Now we're going to maintain an RIR of 3, right, for your first 3 sets, but on your 4th and last set of your pull-up variation in week 4, I want you to go to the death. Your last set is 0. Make sure you go till you cannot do any more, right? It doesn't matter what the reps are, you just go till you've hit 0. Then take a big rest before your accessory move. And then do the same for your accessory move. For your first 2 sets, go 1 rep away from failure. And on your very last set, go to the death, right? So it says underneath here, for weeks 1 to 3, I want you to progress each session. So this means you'll either add 1 rep or wait to the variation of your performance. So that's important. So you want to stay between the rep range and the RIR. But you want to be adding weight or reps each week you perform your sessions, right? And then don't add so much reps or weight that you miss your RIR target, right? So that's just common sense. If you add loads of weight and then you're going too close to failure when you're not meant to go to failure, just adjust the weight or the reps accordingly, right? And then, as I said, in week 4 we go hard. So you prepare yourself for week 4. For your sessions for week 4, set yourself up really well with good sleep, good nutrition and everything, and really go for it in them. Right, we won't spend loads of time on mesocycle 2, the intensification cycle, right? Because it's very simple. The layout and the rep sets, RIR and rest schemes, just follow them as you did in the first mesocycle. You'll notice they're different. They're going to be slightly lower reps, which means you'll be lifting slightly higher amounts of weight. And this is to develop a little bit more force, a bit more neural drive. But we're able to do that safely now since we've built up a good foundation in mesocycle 1. All right, into mesocycle 3 now, the realization. So you're going to realize your potential here. Your strength and everything is going to be realized in this mesocycle. So in weeks 1 to 3, it's going to be very similar to the previous mesocycles. You will follow a rep scheme, a set, an RIR and a rest. You'll notice your reps are lower, which means we're going to have to load up more weight, man. We're lifting heavy now and we're taking bigger rests in between our sets. Now week 4 is the money maker, right? So on your pull-up variation, it's split into 2 separate exercises. So you'll do your pull-up variation. We're looking for a 3 rep max. So we're going to load up the weight here, right? And we're going to go for 3 reps to failure. So that should be feeling very heavy, 3 reps, and then rest 5 minutes. Then you're going to do the pull-up variation again, but you're going to lower the weight. We're going to go for 5 reps at an RIR of 2 for 4 sets. But on your last set, as it says here, go to 0, which means leave no reps in the tank. On your 4th set, go to failure. Take 3 to 5 minutes rest in between each sets. So go towards the 5 or the 3 minutes, depending on how much you feel you need. Then do your accessory move as normal, 3 sets, 1 RIR, and then 0 on the last one, right? So it says at the bottom, this is the cycle with the biggest changes. So this one has the biggest changes in the protocols. And after this, take a few days off to recover. So let your body rejuvenate and recover. Your nervous system especially is going to thank you for this, because the really heavy mesocycles really build up a lot of fatigue on the nervous system, because it requires a lot more neural drive to activate your motor units. And yes, your nervous system gets fatigued too. It's more commonly known as systemic fatigue. If we don't manage that fatigue, it's going to affect your sleep, it's going to affect your endocrine system, hormone levels. Now everything's going to get fucked up. So it's important after this mesocycle to take a week where you take a handy, right, afterwards. And then comes the time to test. So have you reached or gotten closer to your goal? So for you, I'd advise at the very beginning, test how many strict pull-ups you can do in a row without stopping. Then don't ever test that again until you've completed all of these mesocycles to complete 1 full macro cycle, right? Now, as I said, man, don't think about it too much. Like, you can write down little bits if it helps you to remember what you did in the previous session. But as I said, I wing it. I just go, right, I've been doing this thing for 3 or 4 weeks now at about 10 reps. And then I say to myself, so for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'll do the same exercise or a slight variation, but I'm going to go 6 to 8 reps. It's going to be a bit heavier. And then I just do that for the next 3 to 5 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't even make notes. I just kind of ballpark it. As long as I'm hitting the RIRs, they're the most important thing, because they rate the intensity of the session, you know? So it's okay to be outside of the rep range a bit, or be outside of what weight you used last time. As long as you're in the same RIR range, you're still going to get great benefits for building muscle, building strength. Man, look, this is going to be 10 minutes long. So I hope you stuck the kettle on before you watched it. Hope it helps you, man. Take it easy.